Welcome to Kim and Nicolai from Møl. So basically, I'm doing a mini series where I'm trying to see the psychological effects of extreme music from the musician's point of view. I've interviewed a lot of
Yeah.
normals like me who listen to your music and how it affects us and why we like your kind of music. But I'm also trying to get into like the musician's mindset of how, what it's like, the process of writing this kind of music, how it feels, all that kind of stuff. How did you guys get into extreme metal? What was your journey into metal?
Do you want to start, Kim, or should I?
I think you should start.
Okay, okay. My sort of journey into extreme music or metal, if you will, was quite late, and I did it after sort of, it was maybe like actually I think maybe 12 or 13 years ago. I was really into like shoegaze and alternative rock, and then bands like Alcest and Death Heaven came along and kind of merged metal and shoegaze, and that kind of really pulled me into to metal and all the things that I think that metal can offer. That really intrigued me, and since then it has sort of expanded into a lot of other bands that I also really like, both hardcore bands and deathcore and even metalcore and also thrash. So I think I've really sort of taken it in. It's not everything that I listen to is not just metal, but I also really like the alternative music and bands like Sonic Youth, which also have some, I think, extreme sides to it. But yeah, so that was my sort of overall very brief sort of journey into to metal, and I think it just there's the things that like Alcest, the things that they brought to it, and they've kind of merged with shoegaze and also metal, and same thing with Death Heaven is sort of the melancholic aspect that I really like, and I think that metal also kind of encapsulates very well, and that's also always been something that I really that I've been drawn to, if I can say so.
Yeah,
It's cathartic. It's cathartic.
Exactly.
it really
Exactly.
is. We'll get onto that.
Okay. Well, my world into metal, it started out really young. I think I got a cassette tape with all like children's songs on, and it used to be my uncle's. So I was about like 5 years old, and it had been re-recorded with a lot of kids songs, and then the last 2 minutes of the tape was with Battery from Metallica, and I was 5 years old, and I grew up in a pretty religious home, and I thought I discovered something that was really forbidden and not allowed. So but I know that last bit of the tape, I wrecked it like really a lot. But my way into extreme music I think there was something about the energy. To begin with, I felt like I couldn't say for me that I was specifically drawn to the anger or anything like that. I just liked that it was high energy. But the more I explored, like I borrowed huge stacks of CDs on the local library, and just went through it all. And today I think I did dive into it mainly as a way to connect with some of the feelings that I've felt were forbidden or otherwise, dangerous.
Wow, as a 5-year-old, that's great.
Well, that's how it started, but my parents didn't know.
So what music do you guys listen to outside of your own when you're like recording and stuff? What's your go-to comfort music?
Are you asking about what I'm listening to right now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I listen to a lot of stuff, but I've been obsessing with do you know Phoebe Bridgers?
No, I don't.
She's a really great songwriter. That and something, I think there's something about recovering emos or people who used to be into that and are kind of my age at the moment and has a bit of more nuance to some of their lyrical aspects and also gives place to more melancholy. That's kind of where I'm at. Phoebe Bridgers wrote a cover of That Funny Feeling by Bo Burnham, the comedian, and it's really sad and also really nice. So yeah, I listen to a lot of sad music now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking through my Spotify, and actually, what I've been listening to quite a lot recently has been a band called Teenage Wrist, an American
Those are good.
shoegaze band, which is I think really amazing and energetic, and just gives me that 90s feel that I'm always keen on. So that's been great. But some of my like go-to bands are always like Deftones and actually I've also been in a period been to Typo Negative a lot. Enjoyed their sound and also again Melancholy, which I think is super satisfying to listen to. So that's been the period that I've just been into.
So you guys listen to sad music.
Sad
so
music, yeah.
Hey, sad music vibes, okay.
See, for me personally, if I listen to sad music, I feel sad. And I know for some people it's like the opposite. Like they feel like it lifts them in some way, it makes them happier, but it depresses me so much. But I get it. It's really cool. So when you're performing, because you guys live are absolutely amazing, like the energy and just the sound, and like Kim, you're all up in the audience, like stage, like diving, and like you stand out in the audience and you sing, and it's just the energy you guys give it's amazing. Do you also get that energy off the audience? Like, is it a cathartic experience for you? What's it like?
It depends on the headspace that I'm in. When I enter like each concert or each experience, if you can describe it like that. But all concerts are give and take. Like at least that's what I'm trying to communicate as a frontman. That's why I step into the audience. I make people feel a part of what they're experiencing. I don't want them to look at their phones. I want them to be present.
Yeah.
I want them to absorb the atmosphere just as much as I do. I think I've said this in multiple interviews, but I think I might be Nicolai's biggest fan in that point, considering songwriting, because this is music that gives you an opportunity to soak in not just one feeling but multiple feelings. You get to go through like some sort of narrative, and I try to, as to the best of my ability, to put some body into that.
Yeah, and you do it so well. Like your concerts are genuinely, even if I'm with someone, I don't say a word to them. Like they could not be there. Like I'm watching you guys and I'm listening and I'm like soaking it all in, and it's really amazing. What about you, Nicolai? How is it to perform?
It's I'm not the most energetic guy on the stage in Møl. I think Kim, of course, takes the cake, but also the other guys are a bit more energetic than me. And I think that when I can feel that the crowd is also feeling it, it definitely affects me. And also Kim is also again pulling me into a more sort of energetic state. So I kind of feed off both the band and the audience as well. Yeah, so Kim is definitely a hype man in that sense. I mean, I tend to be very focused on doing guitar. So I'm not necessarily focusing on, running across the stage, and I really like,
Playing.
concentrating on the instrument. Yeah, playing. That's what I like, and of course, it's also amazing to be in front of people doing it. Yeah.
You recently played Copenhagen, right? How was that? I mean, the footage and the pictures that I've seen, it looked great, and I knew a lot of people that were there as well and said you guys were fantastic. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was amazing. I think last time we played in Copenhagen, it was at midnight, so I don't think we really could see how many people were there. But this time, I think there were quite a lot of people, and that's always so. It gets me nervous, if I can say so. But when the music starts playing and you can see that everything is going fine, and it was an amazing experience. And also for me, it was kind of cathartic in a way, because I hadn't been playing with the band for a while, because again, I haven't had that much time, and I haven't been touring, I have a child, and so on. So this was a great opportunity for me to kind of get back into the live game. And that was also really reassuring for me that it's an amazing thing to be on the stage, and that I'm very lucky also to be able to do so, and with 5 other great guys.
Yeah, and it was really nice to have you back. It's kind of weird because having other people play your compositions is something else. But I think I've mentioned this to you a couple of times, but you have a specific way that you play that just makes things soak, and it stretches, it bends, it yeah, like that's one of the key components where I just feel like, well, I don't know, I feel that every concert is a Møl concert, but this concert really felt like some puzzles were put together back again in some sense. I think it comes down to sound and the feel of, I can't describe it in English terms, but samspil. Yeah, like playing together and knowing how people, each and every element complements each other. That yeah, it was like seeing a puzzle, like fully complete. We all look pretty giddy and pretty yeah, like in our finest duds. And we dressed for having a good time, and we really did. For me, emotionally, I felt that concert did something like special for me, but mostly because I've been pushing Diorama, our final track, like in front of me for a long time. So being able to play that with Catherine Shepard from Sylvain, that was it was a boundary for me to cross, because usually I find myself masking a bit with the screams and with all of the extrovert energy, but it felt so freaking naked singing. And but that's also the vulnerability that I'm seeking through the music, to not to be necessarily, I know I'm performing, I know I'm a stage person, but personally it was just it was like a picture perfect moment for me. And like during the rehearsals, I couldn't, or at least the first ones, I just couldn't look at the other guys like while playing it, because it was just the song and the contents of the lyrics is just, it summarizes a lot of the journey that I've been through the last couple of years, dealing with my own trauma and dealing with how life is in general. So there's like a verse line in it that says, in Danish, vreden, afmagt og skriget. Mit minde et fængsel forladt. Jeg rejser mig midt i trængsel med viljen vendt mod solen i nat. That last part with my will turned towards the sun tonight. That is well, that's really personal, and in some sense that's kind of the mantra that I've been living out on. And I know that not necessarily all of the other guys feel the same way, but I saw people in the front row just as emotionally engaged as I was, and it had the respect and the sensibility that the track required, without somebody shouting, play something with Slayer. And yeah, that sense of respect and for the song, because it was, I believe this might have been the most quiet song of the whole festival. So there was a sense of, I don't know if it feels a bit weird to say awe, but there was an awe-inspiring like feeling, not just for me as a performer, but I could just see people closing their eyes and just, shouting, singing along. And for me, that's worth something.
I imagine like that's a beautiful song. Like I cry every time. It's very emotional. It's beautiful. I wish I could have seen it live.
You can get to.
You
can get to, though. We did record it.
Awesome. Yeah, that is just that album for me. I mean, I talk about it all the time, and I've said this to you before, but it's my top 3 albums ever made for me personally. It's stunning. Yeah. So if you're having a bad day, for example, you're low or you're sad or you're angry or whatever it is, does that help you perform? Does it hinder you? How do those like your personal emotions affect your performance?
I think everything that has preceded throughout a day before performing sort of I can always find some hinge or something emotionally that anchors me to some specific part during a set. So I might have had a pretty shitty load in, or something happened on the bus or anything like that, like on tour. But I think it just, because of the emotional spectrum that we're operating on, I feel there's room for those emotions. I have not experienced that in any other band. That's one of the reasons why I'm so happy about actually performing in Møl. So there's definitely a sense of getting to blow off steam or unload in some sense during a performance like that. And I think the general feel, at least for when I see my friends perform, is, wow, okay, so that was something. Everybody feels somehow elated. If you don't focus on, the technical bugs or anything that might have happened, it happens. That's just a part of the game, and you can take the whole experience for, that hour that you've set off to soak or to be present right there. and that has a profound, I think it has a profound impact in why I'm doing music in the first place.
For me, I think my state of mind generally affects my own performance. I think previously I have been very sort of focused on what can go wrong during a performance and all the technical aspects of it, and I've had my share of technical fuck ups, to say so, like amps stopped working and my pedal board having a bad connection, and so I've tried all the things that you don't want to have happen on stage, and that's all sort of kind of affected me at least and made me nervous. And I think that kind of clicked with me at the last Copenhagen show, where kind of just, if it happens, it happens, and just let it go and deal with it when and if the technical hiccups happen. Because what I've experienced previously is that if you kind of focus on all those things that might happen, it also affects my performance at least. So I've tried to sort of let it go and then again be more in the moment again, because I don't think there's any reason to like speculate, okay, when we come to this song, this might happen and I might play this wrong, and so on. As soon as you start letting that go, it becomes a little bit easier and more enjoyable, I also think.
It makes you more present. That's actually some of the same things that I mentioned. Like, you can focus on all the things that can go wrong, but when you're playing, you just have to go with it. And just to say, there's a quick example. Like, do you remember when we played our first show at Train? That Train gig with performing diorama or tracks from the album. Like, one of the key things that I took from that experience was actually having to imagine in the audience while some technical difficulties happen, and we ended up with the backbone of good musicianship, where we played like, this might be a mistake in our head, but don't let it phase you. Lean into that feeling, lean into whatever happens here, and because that we can trust each other so much in that, we're really dependent on Ken, on having the beats right and all of that, but you can't plan for something like that, and that's where something beautiful happens. So he was like, that is the best save of a technical difficulty I've ever saw, because he heard the album and he knew what was going on in that part, but we improvised. And that's one of the key things about playing music that can stretch and bend like that. We're not that tied up to, and well, while we do play with MIDI and stuff and a metronome in our ears now, it should never be something that keeps you so what's it called, locked in, so you aren't able to actually still perform during that. And that's where knowing that we can lean into each other's instruments and the atmosphere actually helps a lot.
I love that, because I've spoken to some musicians and we talk about, and they've mentioned also this kind of technical stuff, and they say they freak out, and then they cancel the rest of their show because they just like they've planned it down to every minute detail, and maybe their song structures, they don't allow for sort of improvisation or something, and it says it just ruins them and they just freak the fuck out. But I love that you can adapt. I think that's really cool.
I think it's because we've made a lot of fuck ups during our time it has hardened us.
I don't remember that Train gig as I remember it as quite stressful and
it was
taking a lot of effort. I remember again fucking about with my own pedal board. It didn't work during the sound check, and then it didn't work again after I tried to get it to work just before the concert. So that was also quite stressful. So
maybe your experience as an individual musician might be wearing, I didn't hit, like, I know Ken can get bogged down about not hitting some notes and stuff like that, but if you focus on the big picture, like, it was a show and we gave people a very good time, and I think that counts as something.
Absolutely. I love that. I remember seeing you guys at Musikmuseet in 2020.
Oh yeah, that was with Sigurd, wasn't it? Yeah,
I think so.
exactly.
That was wild. That was very intimate. That was very unique. I loved that.
That was a very crowded room.
There was not that many people in the audience, but they were like tightly packed.
Yep.
I was standing side stage, like filming.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was amazing.
I remember. I also remember that because there were so many people, I was like, I'm gonna walk all over that.
Yes. Yeah, I kept tripping over, like not tripping over, but like I was standing on your cables, and I was like, am I allowed to do this? But no one's telling me to move, so I'm just gonna stay here and film it.
Yeah. Well, everything went on that gig. That was a proper floor show, though.
Yeah, that was amazing. I've never seen anything like that before or since. It was great.
Cool.
Do you believe that there is a personality type required to be an extreme musician, like, or an extreme metal musician, or do you think it varies?
I think I've seen so many different people, like really different people, in extreme music, in music in general. So I'm like, it's for all sorts of people. But I think there's difference between people who feel like really comfortable, for example, touring, or people who feel more comfortable, like, doing their own thing in a studio and maybe never playing live. At least I see, well, I know some musicians that, never perform live and are like, I'm fine by this, and this is an expression. I don't need an audience, or at least I don't need an audience in front of me to feel that I've let this composition like out into the world. And I think that's an escape for some people who are like extremely introvert, or maybe has problems with anxiety or anything like that. Music is just really, it's medicine in that sense. So I don't necessarily see a specific type of personality. It's actually pretty diverse, how many different people like are engaged.
Yeah, it's from all walks of life. I think that's also been my experience, meeting a lot of different people from all kinds of social backgrounds. And I think, again, if we're talking about metal musicians, and also the ones that sort of make it and the ones that kind of stay in the rehearsal space, and also I think that it takes a little bit of some personal investment to kind of go the next step and get out and go out and play a show and buy a studio session and buy some vinyls, and that also takes a big step, because you might not have that much money when you start out, and it kind of has to come out of your own pocket. So in that sense, there's also a bit of, I guess, investment or danger in it as well, and a leap of faith, maybe. And
there's no guarantee for success. Like, there definitely isn't. Like, but the conundrum of being an artist in general, are you an artist just because you perform, or because you release something, or are you just because you create? Then you might be an artist. Are you an artist when you're recognized by people or not? That's one of the, like, at least one of the talks I had with my brother, because like we used to play in a band, me and my brother, but he hasn't released anything, but he loves composing. And like, to me, he's still a really great artist and a great musician. but yeah, like it requires, as you said, Nicolai, a lot of investment in, especially if you want to perform, if you want to tour, if you want to release. There's just a lot of additional puzzle pieces that has to go together, because at least how we as a band function, like the music is the key. That's what unites us, but it is, performing is just 20% maybe.
Yeah. Wow.
And the rest is logistics and mails.
And traveling.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I ask musicians, what's the best and worst part of being a musician? And they're always, the worst part is the traveling. Whenever I ask people. So, well, is that the same for you guys?
For me personally, I hate being in a tour van. I really hate it. I hate being in a bunk and spending like 80% of my time in a car. It doesn't do anything good for my mental state, at least. So
I'm the opposite.
Okay, you love it.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But I think it's also what you take out of it, because like the best tours I've had must come down to at least having people that you really enjoy being around. I think the worst tours are the ones where you feel drained afterwards, but not necessarily from playing, but of people that you find either annoying or really troublesome. And there's just a lot of that social dynamic that spills into touring, and it does put a big mental pressure on you. Our last tour, our headliner tour, was really good. It reminded me of some of the early tours, especially the one with the Ghost Bath. That was really nice, but it was because we could take things at our own pace. So that last tour, that reminded me of that. But the tour prior to that was not great, at least for my behalf, because I went through a divorce, and that was pretty rough at that time, and there was just a lot of external pressure surrounding that tour, and I definitely did not feel great while touring, or before touring, or after touring. But it's also about what you take with you into that.
So, just to round things off, we're almost done, but I do this with everyone that I have as guests on my podcast, and it's just a little game to end on a little bit of fun. And it's called Gift or Curse. This is very simple. I will tell you one at a time 5 different things, and then you guys can tell me if you think it's a gift for the world or if that thing is a curse upon the world. Okay?
Are we gonna have different answers, Nicolai?
Different
we'll see.
Is very good. The last question. I've asked all my guests this, including my mother, who has been a guest on this. It provides very interesting answers, but that'll be number 5. So number 1 is the classic pineapple on pizza. Gift or curse?
It's a gift. I love it.
It's a curse.
I agree. Fruit does not belong on pizza.
No. Some fruit, but not that fruit.
Which fruit?
Oh, yes.
Tomatoes. Isn't that a fruit? No.
They're a compound vegetable. It's not a fruit.
Yeah. Fuck. Well, what have I tasted? I tasted mangoes on a pizza once. That was actually pretty good.
Okay. I know that I have a Swedish friend and they put banana on their pizza.
Oh, no.
No. Yeah.
That's just wrong. It's so wrong.
Yeah. Would you go with a banana pizza, Nicolai?
Sorry?
Would
you go with a banana pizza?
No, I don't think so. It has to have that the pineapple crunch for me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Number 2, smartphones. And I'm thinking in respect to the fact that everyone thinks they're a photographer, everyone thinks they're an artist because they can go out and take. Are smartphones a good tool for that or not? Are they a gift or a curse?
I'm gonna let Kim answer.
Yeah.
It depends who's holding the camera. Yeah. I can take very good photos with a smartphone, but not everybody can.
But that's because you're a photographer. You have an eye for it, right?
But that might, yeah. But people, they use smartphone for different purposes, you know.
This is true.
Like some to remember the concert, and then I'm like, can I grab your phone?
Use
So
your
you can be
brain
present.
to remember it instead.
Mm.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Sorry, that was me. Nicolai, how about you?
I think actually when after shows we often spend time looking at Instagram
Yes.
stories of people who've tagged us at shows. So we in that sense it's kind of a gift.
Yeah. Was it good? Did I play well enough? Oh,
Did I
fuck.
play well? Was that a mistake?
Yeah. Look, he did it again. Let's play it one more time.
Yeah. Kim was offbeat.
Yes. Again.
Okay. So number 3, quite specific to Danish people, and people listening might know what this is, but stegflæsk med persillesauce. Like, do you want to explain what that is for people listening?
Yeah, it's like it's a
Would
piece
you say
of,
it's Danish? It's like the Denmark's like national dish, right?
I don't want it to be the Danish
No.
national dish.
Please no. Yeah,
I think it is actually.
I think it probably is.
Would we say it's like oven roasted? Is it like pork belly?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fat and some meat
It's
from
meat
a,
and then like
from a
with
pig.
what we
And
call
then
crackling on
and then
top.
partially sauce gravy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a white sauce. If you're from the south of London, it's like liquor, what they call liquor. It's like this, it looks like jizz on a plate with like parsley in it. It's not my thing. I mean, no offense, because I get that Danish people love it. But do you guys think it's a gift or a curse?
Curse.
Yeah, I think it's a curse, and I also think that the Danish should eat less pork.
It's a pork and potato heavy diet.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
I've had this dish at points where I was really drunk and I was like, this is the best thing ever. But then I come to my senses and I'm like, what did I do to myself? Why is my stomach feeling so funny?
I couldn't agree more. Whenever I get served, I just eat the potatoes. I don't eat anything else. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're agreed on that. Number 4, the public transport system. And I will just preface this by saying in Denmark, as someone who has lived in 4 different countries, the Danish, 3 different countries, not 4, the Danish public transport system is amazing. Clean, it runs on time, unless there's spårarbejde, but that's what that is. Gift or a curse? What are you guys saying?
I think it's a gift. I live in a small town outside of Copenhagen, and I commute into Copenhagen by a train, and that runs like clockwork usually. So I enjoy it and rely on it.
Kim?
I didn't feel as good about it yesterday.
Oh yeah, I saw your Instagram story.
But mostly because of all the people who went to Roskilde, and I couldn't make the first train. And then it was really crowded with a lot of people smelling like.
Oh, he froze.
He froze. What did they smell like, Kim?
What did they smell like?
Piss! They smelled like piss, and I had to sit in it for 4 hours straight.
That sounds hideous.
Well, but it's cleaner though. It's greener and cleaner to travel that way. I would
Not
have
to your
preferred
nostrils.
teleportation, but if I can't have it, I'll take it.
Yeah, me too. I'm an avid user of my Reisekort.
Can I call it both a gift and a curse?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. I would agree.
This gift is a curse, yes.
Yeah. Ambivalence. Yeah. So number 5, flavored condoms, gift or curse? There's the face. Trust me, I've asked everyone this, like massive famous people that have been on my podcast, my own mom, you know, there's some great answers to this. Specifically flavored ones, not just condoms in general.
Well, it's a leap if the person you're with and you've chosen the wrong flavor.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine one pineapple or banana.
Gift or curse?
From the male perspective, I've had both the male and female perspective on this on my podcast.
I've not tried one
Me neither.
yet, so I can't say if
Your
it's
poor
a
wife.
gift. If it is a gift for the other, it might be if it's your favorite flavor. Okay.
Yeah, I can see that. Did you know they make bacon flavored ones?
Oh, please, God, no.
I agree. Yeah, I mean,
The other thing tastes as bacon too, so.
I mean, it shouldn't.
Well.
Not
Yeah,
after a week at Roskilde.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's right.
That's a good point. Oh,
And you might want the condom flavor. Yeah, the flavored condoms.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
If you refuse to take a shower, then yeah, flavor condoms are the way to go.
And then it's a gift. Yeah.
It must be a gift then.
In that situation, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so
that's specific.
that is the resounding male opinion that I've had on here. Is they don't really think about it much. They're just like, well, it's a gift because it means I get my dick sucked. Great. And I'm like, no. Anyway, yeah. Well, thank you so much, guys, for your time after your travels and your jet lag. I really, really appreciate it. I love your music. I love what you do, and yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much. I hope you have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
Yeah, see you soon.